All right, guys, good morning. Good morning, MLT members. This is Jack Gleason from Major League Trading. It is 8 a.m. Central Time, November 9th, 2018, and this is a reminder to follow your rules and trade your plan, guys. Let's get into this morning's trade plan, and we'll talk about levels, economic news events, biases, etc. Before the bell, it's 5:30 a.m. We had Great Britain GDP manufacturing production, 8:30 producer price index, 9 a.m. producer price index year over year for October. And then at 9:05, Vice Chairman Supervision Randall Quarles will be speaking. After the bell, Michigan consumer sentiment. And at 1 p.m., we're going to have the Baker Hughes rig count. Trend biases the prior day, neutral ES and NASDAQ, bullish on the Dow, neutral on the Russell, but the overnight bearish all four indexes on the shorter term time frame. Bullish ES, bullish NASDAQ, bullish Dow, bullish Russell. Same thing with the midterm time frame. On the longer term time frame, however, neutral ES, neutral NASDAQ, bullish on the Dow, and neutral on the Russell. For our previous day's summary, take a look at the S&P 500 here. Let me pull it up. We had our bell-to-bell high at 28.15 quarter. The bell-to-bell low down at 27.95. Settlement was 28.0875. Value area high 28.11 quarter, value area low 28.0175, and the point of control at 28.09 half. European close 28.10, and the volume on the session was 1,286,000 contracts. Overnight highs in the S&P 28.11 quarter, overnight low 27.89 half, and then we got R4's floor trader support and resistance levels. R4A 28.49 quarter, R3 28.38, R2 28.26 half, and R1 at 28.17. The pivot point at 28.06 quarter. S1 comes in at 27.97 half, S2 27.86, S3 27.77 quarter, and S4A 27.68. Perry was talking about us possibly getting down to S4s here today. On a breakdown, I'll show you guys what I'm thinking here and what levels we would need to break to do that. Over the last 10 days, we have had, on average, let me go back up here, the median, the 37 points from the bell-to-bell session. The prior day, we did have some range contraction. We only had 20-point range. The entire session's 56, previous day 23. So once again, range contraction. Overnight 16.5 in the first hour, 9.25. So pretty much almost every single measurement we were cut in half. So all these markets were just weak, weak in terms of volatility, not necessarily weak because of the percentage change. But we did have down days for all markets but the Dow. NASDAQ led the way down 0.73%, followed up by the S&P down 0.28%, Russell down 0.13%, Dow up 0.7%. Over the last 5 days, Dow climbing the best, 3.47% to the upside. NASDAQ's lagging. So, larger time frame, Dow leading, NASDAQ lagging, something to keep in mind here. Let's take a look at these indexes. I'll show you guys what I have. I do want to just pull up oil here. Interesting level, one of those levels we don't get very often, full halfway back from the prior year's low to high. Not really something I have in a sequence because this was actually never a traditional. So it's just, it's a full halfway back from the prior year's low to high, and this is the first test. It's also lines up with, really where we rallied from this year. It's very close to the lows of the year. So something to watch here. I don't necessarily have that being a support level, but what I will show you guys, so we had an extension complete its target in the overnight session to the downside in oil. That low from Tuesday to low is the next short entry. We have just traded that level. So that is an extension to extension sequence. 60.06 first test. We've sold off here. Looks like 30 ticks. and then the 60-30. So these are really still big ranges. I mean, oil's down 90 cents. It looks like a small range, but oil's been really volatile. Great market to trade, trend to the downside. That downside target is 58.80. One thing to look for, and the only way to confirm that this halfway back from the prior year's low to high even exists, is us breaking above the 61.8, us breaking above 60.53. But other than that, guys, the trend continues lower here in oil. Downside targets are 58.80, and there is a higher time frame, negative 61 at 58.57. Prior lows of the year, I will watch. So this is the low of the year right now. It's 58.07. So that is the low of 2018, and we are not far from that level. So I'm marking up negative 61.8% profit target at 58.57. I'm going to mark up the prior low of the year at 58.07. And then if we break above the current short sequence at 60.53, current entry levels are 60.06, already traded in 60.30. That downside target of 58.80 here. So for the Russell, I'm going to get rid of the extended session here, guys. Halfway back long for the week is what I'm watching here for supports, and that is the only thing I'm looking for. If it doesn't trade, I'm not interested in anything right now to the long side. So the low of Monday to high is 1561.4. You can see I have that marked up. There is other levels of support, but we need to confirm them. But in the meantime, let's look at the current short sequences coming out of yesterday. We broke down, we made a new low into the end of the day, and then we rallied into a halfway back short, which completed profit targets at 1569. So the overnight low, or sorry, the overnight high to low has a halfway back at 1575.5. So on a first test, we should see sellers at that level. If we're going to get a continuation lower, they should step in right there. So I'm going to mark that up, 1575 half. If we make a new low, that will need to be adjusted. All right, so that's what I have for the Russell. For the S&P 500, these are really the levels we were looking for the other day, this extension from the high of Friday to high using the regular trading hours only. The regular trading hours only, so not including the extended session. That 50% and 38% retracement, the 38% retracement is 27.9375. The 50% is 27.86 half, and if we do not hold this level here today, and I know Perry said talking about potentially trading S4s. Let's take a look of where those S4s are. Pull them across here. S4 in the S&P would be 27.68. For him, that was a possibility. So let me go back here to the S&P. 27.68. Yeah, this next support level I have is below that. So this morning, I'm going to turn on the extended session here now. If we basically bust 27.86 half, Perry talked about that S4 trading, and that's at 68. Well, I don't even have support till 60s. So I am definitely in agreement with him. This is your last hope for the continuation of these current long sequences. What I would look for, aggressively speaking, same thing, overnight high drawn to the low. We should really get sold into that if we're going to aggressively turn over. Now, the zone here, this is the leg start from the overnight session. This would be a very heavy resistance level for me as well. So that's just that hourly bar to the downside. I'm going to mark up here, and that's at 28.05 half to 28.0875. So we're looking at 2800 quarter as our first resistance. You can see, guys, we obviously have a lower low here. We have lower highs. This tape is for sure bearish. And like Perry said, it's most likely going to continue to be bearish unless we start popping 61.8s to the upside. So really, we would need to break above the full halfway back short, that 61.8. Let me measure where that would be before you would even say, hey, this has got some momentum. And that's 28.07 area. So we would need a bigger move to the upside, and it's going to be interesting. We'll see. The only levels of support I think we would rally from is this 28.97, 28.9375, or this 27.86 half. If we go straight down into the 29 786 half, I would like it better than if we rallied and then fell into it. It's whatever trades first. If we trade the short first, I prefer it. If we trade the long first, I prefer it. Gold completed short side targets this 2811.3. So this is actually a level that was shared with you guys last night. Believe it or not, it's always amazing when I see these things basically rally to the tick. But this is a leg start from the 11th of October, just straight across. It's been on our chart for quite some time. We are still in the full halfway back from the low of October 8th to high. We did not break that 61.8. The current extension continuation, the sequence, is the low of Thursday to low. This low right here, this swing mark, it's 1222.1 to low. That 38% resistance is 1215 half, and the 50% is 1216.8. So that is the current continuation to the downside. And if we do continue to break down, the full halfway back from the most recent low right now, guys, is 1206.6. So that is really the only support level below the 1211.3, which is only good on a first test. So if you didn't get in that, there's no trade. There's no trade to the upside here in gold unless we break above 1218, and then we can begin looking for pullbacks. Moving on to the Dow, what I would like to see happen here in the Dow, let me turn on the extended session. The 50% retracement here is 25,922, and the 38% is 2604. These are the same levels I was looking for as yesterday. We didn't get those pullbacks. The Dow was the stronger market and has been, and Perry mentioned that it's in the morning trade plan. So if there's any market that's going to lead the way to the upside, you're going to want to be looking at what is the Dow doing? What is the Dow doing? And the Dow right now, I would like to see us hold 25,922. Those are going to be my support levels. I really want to see how this market opens. We have a pretty significant gap down, 126 points here in the Dow and over 10 in the S&P. So that is a potential pro gap to the downside. So after the first hour, if we're still holding these supports, then I'm going to want to be looking to the upside. If we're not holding them, I'm going to be looking to the short side. So I'm really going to let this market kind of tell me what it wants to do. The only thing I have here in the Nasdaq is the full halfway back from the low of the week to high, and that is 70.45. And then there's also the low of Tuesday to high is a possibility, and that's 70.78. Those are the two sequences that I will be watching. Let me show you the extended session here. That 70.78 will be coming into play early in the morning, but I do think we need to trade lower here. Once again, you can just see lower lows, lower highs, lower lows, lower highs. This Nasdaq's been the weaker market, so that's really why I would expect it to move down to 70.45, which is 50 points plus below. It's almost 60 points. And then if that doesn't hold, we have no support till 69.51. So this could end up being a very, very bearish day if we start breaking through these support levels that I have here this morning. If we hold them in the first hour, I will be paying very close attention to a reversal, but at this point in time, I'll have to let the market really tell me what it wants to do. I have all of these sequences as potentials, but when you have these trend reversals, I like to lean into the shorts on the first move if we can get it here this morning, and then flip from there if we hold the long. So right now I'm going into this morning, I would say my highest confidence trades are still short oil and gold, and then the S&P and the indexes in general. If they break down into these supports and then break through those supports, I would prefer the trade after the supports are broken rather than try and do short before it. So we're either going to have to rally to short or break through these supports for me to really want to get aggressive with my short sequences. But that's going to wrap up my morning trade plan here, guys. I will share my levels within the MLT Discord and then talk to you guys in the trade room. Take care.